as of yesterday, we were aware that that Dante Wright had been killed by police in Brooklyn Center, which is a suburb of Minneapolis, and the details weren't quite clear. They have now released body cam footage, which shows the killing of Dante Wright. Ostensibly, the police officer who shot him at near point blank range was under the impression that she was holding her stun gun, or her taser, I should say, and instead shot him dead. There was no indication that there was any type of life-threatening situation here. But really, I mean, what is quite clear from this, and what has become like increasingly clear, is the practice of police stopping people for traffic violations, or not even, or just, in this instance, it was either, it's unclear. I've heard multiple reports regarding either a registration that had lapsed, or a air freshener hanging from the car window, the rear view mirror.
Both
Regardless,
compelling reasons. I mean, like, it's not like anyone's registrations have lapsed during the pandemic when they can't go to the DMV, and air fresheners, God forbid.
But regardless, the point is that there should be the discretion to pull someone over in these instances should be completely gone. It should be, there is no pulling them over. If you see from from your patrol car a lapsed registration, call it in, send a ticket by mail, have that person try and refute it. If you see a violation, call it in. They do it now in, you can do it. They do it through cameras. If you can do it through cameras, you can do it through people. You just have there's just the value of this to society is minimal, if at all, frankly. These situations are just basically to generate revenue. So let's do it in a touchless manner where there is no point in stopping in these instances, because far too often these things end up with dead people, and for no value to protecting the safety of the community. It just ends up creating dead people, and very often those dead people are unarmed black men. Here is some protests from Brooklyn Center last night. We should just give you a heads up and a warning. There is language there's language that's not safe for work here. This was live on MSNBC last night, and it exists, and I think it captures the level of anger. And frankly, how could there not be this level of anger? Play this clip.
On you there, Ron, but there's certain things that we can broadcast and there's certain things that we can't.
Caesar. All right. Are you going to stay out here all night, or what's the plan?
I'm going to do what needs to be done.
What's that? What do you just...
Be here for my people.
Get the police gone from our community.
Be here for my people, however long that takes. Be here for my people.
Sure. Do any of you know Dante and the family very well at all?
No, I don't.
No? Does anybody?
Get the fuck out.
Okay.
Don't give a fuck.
All right. Rachel, all right. You heard all that. Some of it rational, and obviously some of it very angry and passionate. But the bottom line here is that these people are still out here in the street. They're not going anywhere. And the police have stopped firing tear gas. They are still behind that fence perimeter that's been built up. Easy.
Fuck the police.
Fuck
the police.
Okay. What do you want to see happen?
What do I want to say?
What do you want to see happen?
I want to see. All right.
No, I got it.
Got the microphone.
I got it.
I want these bitch ass niggas stop killing innocent black people. They want fucking peace.
Okay.
And then they
Brian,
get mad.
We're just going to cut in because we have a responsibility in terms of the language, and
Okay. But I think that captures, and you know, I mean, I mean, frankly, those reactions seem to be completely rational to me. I don't know how else you react to this situation. I mean, we're, you know, literally a year out from the 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 killing that started at least this round of protests. And Floyd's dead, and Derek Chauvin is on trial, and then this happens, I don't know, 10 miles away. It's
Yeah.
I don't
Especially
know
because, you know, so essentially they pulled him over for dubious reasons, right? And then they found that he had outstanding fines due to 2 charges, one of them being a marijuana fine, for the total fines being under $400, which caused this situation to escalate to the point where the officer felt the need to pull out what she thought was her taser. But even so, based on just the little and the complete innocuous nature of the crime here, which the idea that marijuana fines are a crime at all.
well, they're all
It's that
misdemeanors. It doesn't even matter what it is. It doesn't
No,
even matter. They're misdemeanors.
I understand. It's such an inflection point of so many things. As you mentioned, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. This is 15 minutes away from where George Floyd was murdered. You know, we're talking about reparations and decriminalization of marijuana nationwide as more states move to make it legal. And how do we do that in a responsible way that recognizes the harm that marijuana prohibition has caused on communities of color? And all of these things are just coalescing to this like darkly poetic moment which resulted in the death of yet another black man. And you know, Biden's first response, I don't want to see looting in the streets. You know, what do you expect when the harm has been done over and over again? And so, you know, we keep trying to paper over this by just white politicians, Democrats like Joe Biden, particularly saying, you know, no looting in the streets. Let's be old school about this, you know, law and order, etc. We're past that. This is a point where we need to actually repair the harm, or else this is going to keep happening. And it's like the frustration is palpable. And of course it's like fear, imbued with fear for communities of color in so many ways, and decades of this.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to just, at the very least, you just stop the traffic stops. That's the first thing to start. This is the low hanging fruit, folks. Just, you know, we just need to continually lop off functions of the police department that are not there, but for, you know, essentially harassment and fishing expeditions, because this is the way they end up.
And sorry, just really quickly, when was Oscar Grant murdered? Do we know? At Fruitvale Station? It was the same story. Cop thought it was a taser. Another like, there's so, even the minute details of this, even the very specific details are repeated details. That's how frequent this is.
Yep.